We are here at Hotel Ramada for the annual general meeting of Sri Lanka Rugby, and joining us is the newly elected President, Mr. Rizly Illyas. A very good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining us for a few minutes amidst your busy schedule.
Thank you for having me.
Well, in your speech today, you mentioned change. I think that is something that has been wanted for Sri Lanka Rugby for some time. I've been speaking to some past greats of Sri Lankan Rugby, and they are very happy to see this start here today at the AGM, and what you have in store for the future. Can you just mention a few things about this change you're looking for?
Well, when I'm talking about the change, I'm talking during my campaign. When I went on to meet the provincial unions, the schools, and other stakeholders, the change they wanted was there is no connectivity between the union and the stakeholders, and there was no trust. You see, even if we are to go and win a championship and a medal, the enjoyment, the happiness must come from the school level to the provincial unions, to the referees, to the coaches, and all the clubs must enjoy it. But we have seen with a couple of years, from here, there has been a lot of what you can call that, not animosity, acidicity within the union and the representative of the union people. So that's the change I want to bring in, the trust, the engagement, asking them to come in and being with the union and sharing their viewpoints. And obviously it will be shared among the council, and we'll take the change as it comes from there. And I want to change the entire union management and bring new management in, and that itself will set the standards for everybody. And that's the change I'm talking about. Other than that, rugby will take its course, the structure will be different, the format will be different, but that's rugby. But the change must come from us at the SLR union.
Yes, so over the years, we have, I think you mentioned it as well, we have seen a bit of a gap when you from school level to club level, from under 19 to club level, and I think that's where we have been lacking over the years, that experience, opportunity. You mentioned that you were looking at the under 21s, under 24s, etc. What are the plans you have around that, Mr. Illyas?
Just to elaborate on what I'm thinking, if we get the window to start playing, I'm going to have a workshop with Dr. Sankalpa telling everybody how to get back to rugby. It's a very it's a short document, but that document has to be understood with responsibility, and people must be honest. Without that, we cannot go forward and get this pandemic into the rugby bubble. So with that, we want to start with the shorter version of the game sevens. Then we hope to go into the under 24, under 21 in January, February, and then we get into the league. So it's all depending on the ministry approval and the health ministry approval. So, but we are focused. Our sitting council and our members of the exco committee focused to take this forward. People are rushing to play this game, but they don't realize that there is certain restrictions that are being given, and we need to take care of this. If we don't take proper care of this, we'll be all just sitting back in office and doing nothing to rugby. So this responsibility must be taken. And I think I have shared this with most of the coaches in Sri Lanka, the division and school coaches. They understand it. Now we need to have a workshop, and especially with schools. They are the grassroots level of our gems in Sri Lanka. From there, they come up to the under 19, under 21, under 24, and they go into club and national. So we need to engage the schools union also very much. I have been invited to have a chat with them last week. They're excited to meet with the new committee and the new exco and go forward. I'm really energized, and I'm excited for this new position that I'm taken in.
Well, you are part of the last 2 years of the committee as well. A few words on the immediate past president, Mr. Lasitha Gunaratne, and his team.
Well, Lasitha was definitely a person who I took note from for how the governance of the union should be with regarding to the norms of the constitution, the sports law, and a lot of matters. But during his time, we competed in most of the tournaments. We did well, but we had issues with our finances, sponsors coming in, I mean, you cannot say we didn't have sponsors. We had for women's tournament SAGT, for dialogue we had for the men's tournament, but we couldn't find that punch because there was certain recessions in the country. There was the bombing. Then there were government changes, ministers changes. Because in my early interview also, I told we need politics and rugby to go together, because not per se the politicians come and get involved, but we need the energy from the ministry for the funding, for the support they give the national side that we always had for the ministers before, like Dayasari and Mahina Ananda. So we didn't have that punch. And with Honorable Nama Rajapaksa being in as a sports minister, he knows quite well about rugby, and I'm sure that's the punchline for us. I mean, this is like a script that could not be have written, you know. I mean, when I went into my presidency, I didn't know which government was going to come in, who was a sports minister, and nothing. It was just like a dream for me to take up a challenge. I came up in life with a lot of letdowns. I had to fall down. I had to have I had resistance, but that's the way that I saw how life is, and I got back to my feet. Even during this campaign, which initially I did not know some of the provincial unions who were supporting the incumbent president, Mr. Lasitha, but I thought I will take it as a challenge and move forward, because we had an understanding for 2 years. But later, when the provincial union did know about my manifesto, they really came up and supported, and the misunderstanding I had with Lasitha, we erased it, and he gave me his blessings to go forward.
So there you go. That is Mr. Rizly Illyas. So going forward, just a final say. What do you have to say to our players, coaches, administrators, whom you're looking to work with for the future of Sri Lankan rugby for the next 2 years?
Hi Vicky, you see, we are all in a sort of a dream world, but I have spoken to most of the international coaches who have been in Sri Lanka, and a lot of experts we have brought in. Our international arena is for the sevens. Our 15s, our physical level, our commitment to the 15 in the local rugby is not there. But we are, in the short term, within 2 years, we have planned to be number 1, 2, 3 in Asia, and that should be a consistent run. And for that, we need high performance training. The structure of the club rugby has to be changed from 15s, the shorter version, from a 16 weeks league, we are moving into a 9 weeks, and then we go into another 4 weeks of knockout. So the structure will definitely change. The clubs will like it most probably, because it's not engaging the players too much, and also the resources the clubs with the pandemic and the COVID hitting and businesses falling down and recession happening again. Sponsors are not willing to go that extra mile for the clubs to spend that money. So shorter tournament and more of the shorter version of the game will definitely help bring back the crowd. And we hope to, I had to speak to the schools union how to engage a school and a A division game together, playing under lights and playing under normal time. So these are all things that we have in our head as a plan. So I sincerely hope we can put this together.
So there you go. That's the good news, the positive news, the fresh thinking, and of course the changes the new president is looking for Sri Lanka rugby. We want to thank you and wish you all the very best for the coming 2 years as president of Sri Lankan rugby, and we hope that rugby will be going to a new level. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vigit. Thank you for the interview. I did one with you 2 years back, Kosa. And this year we will see progress, and thank you for being with Sri Lanka Rugby. Thank you so much.